Welcome everyone. In our last conversation of the series with a very dear old friend of mine and one of India's foremost graphic and product designers, teacher, Gandhian, a man of deep humility and learning, one of the few men who I have seen got more angry as he ages. I've got less angry, he has got more angry. And somewhere and somewhere along that, and it's important, I use anger in the most positive sense, because it is anger at some stage within a certain format of wisdom that brings about the change. Otherwise, we accept and absorb and embrace and hope for change. But anyway, Kirti, apart from dedicating his life to a large extent to the IIT, IDC in Powai, his hometown being Indore, he's now distinguished professor, visiting professor at Indore IIT. A really fine, clinical, clear mind. And when I saw the Satyagraha Dandi March Memorial, I was unaware of it, but I have huge pockets of ignorance on many things that I think I know so much about. And I looked at it, and it was a really elegant, graceful, meaningful tribute to Gandhiji. And then Kirti tells me that IIT students with him in charge were the lead designers, and there's an architects team. By chance, I got onto the architects page, SSA Architects. So if you see the architects talk about it, it's like any other commercial project. So it was a bit surprising how that relationship will move forward with the ideology, with the empathy, creating that atmosphere. And that's what today Kirti will focus on. At the same time, I would like for you to remember, as we all now know, this is not the audience. The audience is out on that cyberspace, and now we are dealing with hundreds of thousands of people on our YouTube channel. So it's important they also get a sense of your journey to some extent, your thinking, your philosophy, your relationship to Gandhiji, his values, your teaching, the service you've done to India's educational system. So let's start with that. You've been a teacher now for more than 45 years, 50 years, roughly. The IIT in Powai and the design, the IDC design, product design, was where you eventually became the head and take your movement forward. You've had generations of students who have genuinely admired, respected, and loved you. Tell me, for sustaining that 5-decade journey, what do you think is the most important thing in your character which has sustained that with so much love and integrity?
First of all, thank you very much, Neville,
Pleasure.
for inviting me in this treasure. I have done 4 Gandhi exhibitions. My father went to Gandhi Ashram 1927. He stayed all his life. It's here.
Okay.
It's here. It's hidden. So ever since I remember, we had morning Gandhi ji ki prayer or Sham ke Gandhi ji prayer, and huge amount of Gandhian literature in Gujarati, Hindi, and English. And I take a look around. My own collection very extensive, but I don't have any of these books. So this is how big a phenomena Gandhiji was, and that whole period was Gandhimay. You can see he is ever present. You said, how come I ended up designing this most important of Gandhi
What's the
Memorial.
teaching?
No. Don't interrupt. I am talking. Okay. So I'm saying, when I went to Royal College of Art to learn design, when I came back in 1974, my father was chairman of Gandhi Bhavan Trust in Bhopal. He said, इंग्लैंड से डिज़ाइन सीखिए तो हमारा गांधी भवन का गांधी एग्जीबिशन डिज़ाइन कर दो. So I did that exhibition
74.
in 74. I arranged chronologically. I also made a gallery. One new thing I did, at every period in the life, I put very clearly on top how old Gandhiji was at that point. And many people who came, for example, George Fernandez came. So he will wait at the point which was his age at that point and think कि गांधी जी इतने आगे निकल गए थे तो मेरे पास टाइम है अभी आगे गांधी जी बनने का. तो उस the exhibition chief guest was Amrit Bhai Modi. He was secretary of Sabarmati Ashram. He said, you have done Bhopal exhibition, now do Sabarmati Ashram exhibition. So I did My Life with My Message. This is like Gandhiji's original place. I did the exhibition. So I became known as somebody.
It was a permanent exhibition.
It's a permanent exhibition. It's the permanent Gandhi exhibition in Sabarmati Ashram, tracing his entire life. So we created full size.
You all can see clearly.
So it was very interesting. And then people from all over, because all over India there are Gandhi ashrams. So they kept on asking me कि हमारी गांधी exhibition design कर दो. So I was teaching full time in IIT. How many Gandhi exhibitions can you design? So I created this album in 2 sizes and sent them the prints so they can print and arrange and use this as an exhibition. So it's a summary in 3 languages, Hindi, English and Gujarati. The entire imagery of Sabarmati Ashram Museum.
You'll have this on the video. So
Yeah. So came Prime Minister Manmohan Singh ji, 75th anniversary of Dandi March, announced in Dandi that we will make a national memorial there.
2006.
2006. And they created a high-level Dandi Memorial Committee, HDLMC, and Gopal Krishna Gandhi. Normally, Prime Minister is the head of the committee. So he made Gopal Krishna Gandhi, who is grandson of Gandhiji, the chairman of that committee. And they approached IIT Bombay that we have some solar energy components in this. So can you help with solar panels and solar thing? By chance, I was sitting in this presentation and somebody had designed a huge globe and lots of projections, very high-tech exhibition. And I know for sure that high-tech things break down. So I know this exhibition will not have much life. Temporarily, you can make it glamorous. So I proposed that can we also give a proposal for exhibition. So that's how it came to you. I do not know, there are many young people here. If enough people are aware what was this salt satyagraha, so I just want to give a...
Kirti, Baba, there's a process. I know you like to speak, but there's a process for which we have structured. So we will come to this totally. No, the process was, that's why I first wanted to understand your love for teaching, your love for it, your dedication to it. Even in 1 sentence or 2 sentences, what is the abiding thing that's allowed you to continue as a teacher?
Actually, Neville, I have lived 3 lives simultaneously.
Okay.
One is teaching full time in IIT Bombay. So many of my students are there, like 45 years, 45 batches, hundreds of students. That I taught proper industrial design teaching.
Always industrial design?
Industrial design, graphic design, there was not a single subject I did not teach. I change every year. But here it's not about teaching. I had an equally important, I used to run my design studio, where we used to take professional projects. Okay. And the third part, equally important, my research interest. So my temple research, my Sanskrit research, my agamic research. So,
okay. So now you want to come to this project.
Because time is short, and this project has huge depth. 5 years of my life, there is Lalit Das, hi Lalit. 5 years of my life went to this, so it needs to be told. So I don't particularly want to say what I taught. No?
Sure. I wasn't asking what you taught. I was,
sure.
Anyway, so now let's come to the project. And how did you convince them not to go for the high-tech project and take something?
They said, show us what can happen. So we showed. I'm showing that part.
Okay.
Till we landed the project. Then I explained the process. But first thing, even when Gandhiji started Salt March, that we will walk and pick up salt on the seashore, everybody thought it's a silly idea. How this can do any damage to British Empire? No, nobody thought it. When Motilal Nehru said, "ये क्या बच्चों जैसी चीज कर रहे हैं? Take a big issue." Gandhiji said, "Wait and see what happens." Because salt affects every single person. You need salt. Even animals need salt. So he took something. This is what I want to explain. How it became so big. This was Gandhiji's brilliance. No, he took an issue which affected everyone. So I just want to show the beginning, energy of that point. No? It's a short movie.
दांडी के निकट पहुंचते हुए बापू ने कहा, अगर मैं लौटूंगा तो अपना उद्देश्य पूरा करके ही लौटूंगा, वरना मेरी लाश समुद्र में तैरती हुई मिलेगी.
So this kind of paper, 80 people started from Ahmedabad. By the time it reached Navsari, there were 1 lakh people all marching with Gandhi.
So now we are near the end.
Now we are reaching the last day. It doesn't end there because it spread all over India.
उन्होंने कहा, शक्ति और सत्ता के विरुद्ध सत्य के इस युद्ध में मैं सारी दुनिया का समर्थन चाहता हूं. अप्रैल 1930 की सुबह बापू दांडी के सागर तट पर आए. 8:30 बजे उन्होंने मुट्ठी भर नमक उठाकर अत्याचारी नमक कानून का खुला उल्लंघन किया. ये एक संकेत था और इसी के साथ नमक सत्याग्रह का सूत्रपात हुआ.
So all over India, everywhere people were making salt and breaking a law. I will explain the salt law. I mean, whole country unites to tell America, the Britishers, we don't care about your law, no? We will break it. सब लोग नमक बना रहे हैं.
नमक एक रहस्यमय शब्द बन गया, दृढ़ता का प्रतीक बन गया. देश के कोने-कोने में नमक सत्याग्रह छिड़ चुका था. उत्तर प्रदेश में, बिहार में, उड़ीसा में, बंगाल में और महाराष्ट्र में भारत की चिर शोषित नारियां घर की 4 दीवारी से बाहर निकली और पुरुषों के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर स्वाधीनता संग्राम में शामिल हुई.
So what was the salt law? This, many people do not know what was the salt law. So British ships, they used to come from England empty and will take things away from India. So just to keep the weight down, they filled it with salt as a ballast. So each time ship docks into India, they have so much salt. So they made a rule, Indians cannot use Indian salt at all. All Indians will only have to consume British made salt. And they created very strict rules. And this is all listed down. There were custom chowkis everywhere. People used to check मुंशी प्रेमचंद की एक कहानी है नमक का दरोगा, जिसमें तो कहीं से आप इंडियन साल्ट बना ही नहीं सकते, और लॉ में ये लिखा हुआ है कि अगर समुद्र का पानी किसी डिच में आता है, up to that it's not a crime. But if it evaporates and there is salt there, you become a salt producer, so you can be arrested. It was this kind of situation. So annually 600,000 tons of salt used to come to India, and it was the third largest money earner for the British Empire. I mean, it was a major source, no? They're just bringing junk from there, 2000% profit margin. And Indians had to endure, because without salt, nothing is possible. So he took a very important issue. Shall I move to Dandi March? Sure.
Present it the way you like.
So, 12th March, from Sabarmati Ashram, along with 80 chosen marchers.
79 plus him.
81 is him. 81 is him. Why chosen? Because they were young boys, ashramvasi, who were tutored into the methodology of non-violence. He said, you will be attacked. Maybe they will shoot you. Maybe they will kill you. But even to protect a blow, your hand shall not rise. That degree. So this methodology, actually Martin Luther King adopted this, many people. This is methodology of non-violence. Also, all 80 were boys. So girls from ashram complained, why only boys should take part into this? Why not girls? We are not weak. Gandhiji said, our march will be attacked and there will be police doing lathi charge. I do not want ladies in my march because they will say कि गांधी ने महिलाओं को आगे रख के अपना प्रोटेक्शन किया है. So I want all boys, मारना है जितना मारो. No, that's the reason I don't doubt your courage, but I don't want to give them an excuse. This was, as we went, such a meticulously planned operation that difficult to believe. I always assumed in my mind that Gandhiji picked up salt on the shore of the sea, but actual place is about 1.5 kilometers inside. So this was the site when we got this kind of barren land. This is where he picked up salt, and there was a existing monument very badly done. So we thought it's an opportunity because it's not just memorial to an event. It's a memorial to show the power of truth force and non-violence, that how properly applied it can defeat the biggest empire. No? Up to now everybody said truth is a great force, non-violence is a great force. To actually use it and defeat the most powerful empire in the world following this methodology. So that is the value of this. Also, I believe Gandhiji no more Indian. He belongs to the whole world. I will just show how in a Chinese poster also only Indian is Gandhian, so should have international appeal. And like truth itself, it should be universal, it should self-exist, and it should be durable. Truth does not erode. So we decided right in the beginning that we will only use what will last. The given life was 500 years. And just like we have monuments from 500 years ago, we can go and visit. We didn't want to make a temporary something which will require repair 20 years from now. So it should be durable. So throughout this thought was there, it should last. And in the presentation to Gopal Krishna Gandhi, I said, I will only trust those who can be trusted. So we can trust sun will rise. We can trust wind will blow. We can trust water will flow. So we will not use things which will degrade. These we can trust. This was the design philosophy of this monument, no? Since the beginning. Since the beginning, we said, don't ask for gimmicky things, don't ask for temporary things, don't ask for LED displays, because they are not permanent, something else will come. So we rely on nature. Actually, one of the persons, she helped me in the process, she's here, now teaching in Jamia. So the main challenge in this project, see, all over India, there are hundreds of thousands of statues of Mahatma Gandhi. But nobody knows those 80 boys who helped make this success. No? So we decided it will not be just Mahatma Gandhi, but all the 80 marchers. They should also be presented into that monument. So this produced major challenges because there is no record except the names. So challenges of research and challenges of how to create this. So research challenge, what did the marchers look like? If we have to make full-size statues, we need some reference. What was the event, village by village, he state what happened there. And the route itself which he followed, why he followed. Actually, Vallabhbhai Patel was the manager for this event. It was very properly managed because 80 people have to stay, they have to take bath, they have to eat, they have to be managed, they move to next thing. No? Everything was managed. This is the only photograph of the 80 marchers outside Sabarmati ashram. This is the only single source from where we can derive who are the only marchers. Why do I say the only source? After this, so many more people joined सफ़ेद कुर्ते पजामे में. How to make out ये marcher है कि भीड़ है? So all other the references we saw in the movie, the thousands of people all look alike. So this is my single authentic source. Just a background, 26 marchers were 25 or less. One was 18, 10 were 30, only 5 above 40 years, 34 from Gujarat and 14 from Maharashtra, UP, Kutch, Kerala, rest from other states. This is very interesting. We promoted that we are doing this research and we want references of people who took part in the march. And spontaneously from marchers' family, I will get letters. Ki my grandfather was in the march, we are very happy, somebody is remembering, they will come, visit, give photographs, give everything. So a lot of this self-collected. So this is a typical march.
This is at what point?
This is, I think, 10th day or so, because after that crowd. So what happened, some people became famous. So we have continuous documentation of them. So we can know what they look like. Some are absolute unknowns. We ourselves try to trace and find out. So if we get a picture like this, there was a research team working just to identify and track. It's like detective work, na? Follow this person and where can we get a reference. So even if we get like this, we have an image. Because the originality is different. All we know कि पजामा पहना है कि धोती पहनी है. Otherwise face is blurred. So the 80 marchers cluster which are following Gandhiji have two people where we have some idea what they look like, other we have no idea. So we created generalized representation that it basically looks like this. it was good this happened in IIT Bombay. So I totally involved my students into this research. This was a 7-year project. No? So this was a girl called Nimisha. She went through, actually there is one small Hindi and Gujarati book and Thomas Weber's Dandi March. This is the only authentic full description of the march. But there are other sources like Gandhi Ji Ni Dinwari, which describes what happened day by day. Then somebody wrote down all the lectures he made. And during the journey, when he will stop, he will talk to the people and convert them to this idea of non-violent opposition. He told school children, छोड़ दो, सरकारी school मत जाओ, पटवारी नौकरी छोड़ दो, resign, and people will come. Parsi में, he goes to a Parsi village, they will donate. So throughout it was very directed lectures. And this girl, she collected material. He stayed in 24 villages on 24 days. What happened in each village? What was the main event, which is a memorable event? So here people came on train. In the end, the crowds had become very, very large. This is
one thing about the march, which is always that there was a period where from Bharuch to Ankeshwar, you had to go by boat. Because I found one of the marchers' family who gave me 6 photographs of their father on the boat with Gandhiji. Is that covered in any way, or we just forgotten?
We created narrative. Actually, the way I decided, people should do the march, because a 15-acre monument. So we created a march.
It's a 15-acre monument.
15-acre monument, large. So all the stops we created and whatever happened. So one stop just devoted to his boat journey. Nothing major got ignored. So based on the description, another team of students created these visualizations. We did not want in this memorial images and captions, because problem always come which language you write the caption. If you write all languages, it's quite long. Even if you write Hindi, Gujarati and English, captions take more time and people read the caption, not just see the thing. So we made it universal. The sculpture should narrate the story. So these were the visualization, and they were then converted by a team of sculptors into these kind of 3D images. So for every day, these were visualized. And
this is Mangalore?
This is Sajod and Mangalore. And we used wide angle representative, so we can show immense crowds, great depth. Even though my depth is only 1 feet, but because of wide angle thing, it became like this. Actually, this project by Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was plan of a Dandi heritage path, that people should regularly do the pilgrimage. Actually, Rahul Gandhi and all had done, then this was announced. So he said, let's make every stop, let's create a rest place, let's create a hotel there, let's make the whole road. So because all the images we want, I wanted authentic references. Buildings should look like they are there, trees should look like. So just to keep authenticity of everything, I have full documentation of entire path going and coming back.
So is that path signposted now?
Now it's signposted, but it goes through things like this, because this is 1930. So where this was the path, but where now it reaches, government created this Dandi heritage route. So Dandi Yatra route, Kanjori, so like this, and then they create a rest house there so people can, so just like you do Narmada ki Yatra, you can do Dandi Yatra. and visit all the places. This is
Every signage seems to be of a different design and sensibility.
because it's India.
Fair enough.
नहीं, लोकल जो होता है कलेक्टर वो बोलता है ना कि ऐसा करो. And we created in IDC on the top floor a studio for designing, because it was lot of work. Many things had to be tried out. So this is inside the studio. It was a temporary structure where basic models were made, ideas made. We had to make presentations to this high-level Dandi Memorial Committee through Ministry of Culture. That work is going on. Then only they will release the funds for the next thing.
Where are the models today given to the government?
Various places. So this was the current one before our thing got. So there is this big mound of salt and Gandhiji doing, and this was there, and this is like, so our sister Gandhiji had stayed in a place called Saifi Villa the night. It belonged to a Parsi Bohra gentleman. So beginning from there, the whole monument. So on that land, we proposed something like this. Because it happened by the seashore, I must have a water body. So when my people take a march, they should feel like it's happening next to the water. So we created this lake and the main monument, a beginning point and a pathway. And when they will pass through, there will be 24 stops, each showing one village where he stayed the night. So that was the research. Then art component. So there is a central Gandhi statue, which is this. I will talk about this. 24 narrative panels saying what happened in each stop, and 81 marches, full size sculptures, and then light pyramid. So I will come to light pyramid. So we looked at the most significant representations of Dandi March. So there is Nandlal Bose image. There is also Ramkenkar's Dandi March. And then there are Gandhi statues all over India. In most of them, the walking stick in Gandhiji's hand seems like a support, that the old man is using a stick to support. I said, Gandhiji was not weak. He was ready to take on the biggest power in the world. So this is like a powerful person, lakdi gal ke aa jao, jo karna hai karo, darenge ke marenge. So everybody said, you are showing Gandhiji as aggressive. He's not aggressive. I am showing his force, his determination, faith, and he is ready. Karna hai jo karo, do or die. So this is a significant change in Gandhi imagery. And we designed equally from behind, because people were following him. And so the way we put in the memorial, he's marching ahead and there are marchers behind. So the back view equally important. And so the person we chose, we had to do, actually what happens in government, according to government procedure, you cannot just select an artist and assign. You have to do a search committee meeting. You have to say you consulted or you located 3 or 4 different people. And then expert committee request, Kishan Khanna was member of the committee, says that we should take this person. So we went all over India and we decided on Sadashiv Sathe. Sadashiv Sathe, very interesting, because after independence, he had just passed from JJ school, sculpture. And Jawaharlal Nehru outside Delhi railway station wanted a statue of Gandhiji. So he was unknown, he's just a fresher. And Nehruji had called all the top people but not happy. So he created a model and left in his office कि आप देखो तो सही. And suddenly he found all people from ministry in his house कि नेहरू जी को ये statue पसंद आ गई है. So he created his first major work, the statue which is outside Delhi railway station. And this is his last major work, which became the biggest Gandhi statue in India. So a great person, he has a studio in Kalyan. So it took quite many variations, they make it small, till we got this right, because we had to create a meaning. Like Buddha should show Buddhahood, I want to show Gandhi's force and from all directions. And this is how it was getting built. This is full size. So this I already talked about, the marchers cluster. So where clear reference is there, the person already exists with photographs. So we made small replicas because we had to get 80 full-size sculptures made to be put outdoor and to be created which in a form which will remain permanent. We had heard of this terracotta warrior, so my first thought was, let's do it in terracotta. But then somebody pointed out, किसी riot में हाथ तोड़ देगा तो क्या करोगे, खुले में रखा. So we decided to go for bronze. So we created small models like this.
Where are these models?
They are in IIT collection. And I thought of the idea that let not one person, it should not be assigned to one person to make these 80 marchers. Let the whole world contribute. No? So I floated the idea we should have an international workshop to make sculptures. And we invited, I personally visited all art colleges in India, gave them presentation. We went to international association. So people from 8 foreign countries and from top Indian colleges, we said we will not pay any money. We will take care of your travel and your accommodation. But I was so surprised, this is the beauty of Gandhiji's, the place it is in world's heart. 400 people applied on these terms to come. अभी कोई थोड़ा सा काम भी बिना पैसे के नहीं करते. The head of department of Budapest came and he spent. 2 British students came, one from Italy came, from Nepal came, from Sri Lanka came, from Malaysia they came. Buddhist monks came, and we did 2 camps. So for these people, see, I had a deadline also in mind, and stone carving or any other matter, it would have taken 4 to 5 years to get it, and we require very skilled people. So we did clay models. So we did 2 workshops of 15 days each. In IIT campus itself, we created a sculptures camp. We invited, they stayed in the hostels, and these 2 booklets show, first was local only, second had international participants. And I will just show a small movie to give an idea. So, for example, the Britishers who came or the Italians who came had no idea about Satyagraha or Gandhiji. So simultaneously we created a 15 days program where the most eminent Gandhians came and talked about the methodology of Satyagraha. Because unless you understand something, that feeling cannot come in the image. So we had Prime Minister of Tibetan government in exile, Rinpoche come and talk, we had Radhika Bhatt come and talk. So all the eminent Gandhians came and gave lectures to explain Gandhian methodology and what it meant. And some of them, so this is just a glimpse. This was made through temporary shelter through bamboo and mat. So they are reading. It's about 5 minutes. As the result of this, in 1 month I had 80 sculptures done by top people in the world. No? This is miracle. God was helping. Everybody say impossible that you can do it in 1 month, but we achieved this. They are making the basic skeleton. So we had two categories of participants. One who made the sculpture, and each batch 5 senior sculptors who acted as mentors, so they will help and make things better. And then team of studio staff who will provide clay blocks and who will help with logistics, so they could concentrate just on making. This is one of the facilitators. We made everything slightly oversized, not human size, because in the enormous campus, if you make same size, they will look small. So we made them 90%, 110% bigger. Everybody was given a reference sheet. Like this, about the sculpture, what are the features, what's the reference. First we decided that we will set style parameters, so all should look homogeneous. Then we discussed and decided, let them make in their own way, because there are 80 different people, they can all be different. So very interesting collage came, of styles actually. Nobody forced them, but they were working all night on their own. It's sort of like group feeling happened, no? Because they got into this feeling that we are doing something very important. I said, I'm not paying you, but you will become immortal, because on every statue your name will be there. So only 20 people can get their names on this monument. And it was fantastic, the whole feeling. And it became a big, like whole IIT community never seen anything like this. No? So visitors and directors and people.
Hmm? 2006 roughly.
This is 2013. Project came to us in 2011.
2006.
It started 5 years, nothing happened because they didn't find me. Said only after Kirti ji, you came, things started moving. We had no idea what to do. Then it got finished in 4 years. 2017, Modi ji inaugurated this. So this we are just seeing how the fall will happen, how things, just to get the fold right. And this kind of fellow feeling developed within that. They are spraying to keep it clay, and it becomes a holika activity actually. These are the references. So when full-size clay sculptures got made, simultaneously we converted them into fiberglass molds, and we made these fiberglass statues simultaneously. which then went for bronze casting. So before we send them for bronze casting, I had to figure out in which order to arrange them in the final monument. So IIT campus itself, we arranged them in the corridor. And this image quite different from the photograph you always see of Dandi March, because that shows senior leaders. But mostly they were kids, 18 and 19 and 20 years, and they would come and talk to Gandhiji. So I put young people in the top, and here is Gandhiji leading a young India forward. So I wanted to change the public perception of what Dandi March looked like. So we created this image, and this is how it looked. You will notice there is huge dynamism in all of them. Na? They are walking, they are acting, and they are enthusiastic कि हम कुछ बड़ा काम कर रहे हैं. So no sculpture looks like this active feeling throughout. And this workshop itself became a major media news. Indian Express published a 2-page supplement on this. And all over India, articles were published and the list of people or whatever. And then I kept on getting letters. So this is how it appears in the final monument. The idea they have been dispersed is people can join in. They can join in between. They can walk through the marchers. So they feel like they took part in Dandi March. So second was the narrative panels at 24 locations. So big stone blocks, and within them bronze relief. And we took the system, again we searched. So there is an organization called Clay Finders Pottery in Kerala. They make these giant pots, and they have large kilns. So they helped us develop the 3D visualizations, which then went to the School of Fine Arts in Hyderabad with a Professor Shanti Swarupini. So her team created full-size fiberglass molds, which were then cast in Jaipur to become bronze sculpture. So a whole lot of logistics involved in managing all this, ensuring that things happen as they happen. And this was an exhibition when all the miniatures were done. We did in Kerala, so people could come and give comments, because at this point it's possible to accept suggestions and make it better. So this is how it looks installed on the site. This idea shows truth force, like the North Star. Na? So Gopal Krishna Gandhi had said right in the beginning, this monument should be visible from land, should be visible from air, should be visible from sea. So we decided to make this huge tower, then put a glass cube which will have LED light inside. So in the daytime, sun's reflection will make it glow, and nighttime it will act like a lighthouse. And to make that, we developed special laser beams. So it's not a physical structure. As the sun goes down, this goes brighter. The pyramid becomes much more clear, representing the energy of the thought of Satyagraha. So this was the conceptual sketch we had shown to get the Dandi Memorial Committee to approve the idea. Then they assigned the IIT Bombay the project to implement. Normally, all monuments have a souvenir shop, and we could have kept Gandhiji ka Teen Bandar, what you can buy in Sabarmati Ashram and all. So I thought, let them make salt. No? What can be better than making salt? So we created these pans and a tank full of salty water, and you go, you will put 1 lota into that. In 15 minutes, it becomes salt. You made the salt, that is your souvenir. So we created these seeds and these salt making units. So you can experience what the ladies did in Dandi Satyagraha. They made their own salt. Also, I said in the beginning, depend on the sun, water. So we said all the power in this complex should come from solar power only. So it's not dependent on anybody. It's self-independent. So one of my students created this visualization of solar trees and to be planted in water. So it's a metaphor of sun and water creating salt because it's salt water. So finally it's installed like this. Then this line, I want world sympathy. I think it's as a design teacher, we talk about calligraphy also, but I think there cannot be more powerful calligraphy than this writing. No? I want world sympathy in this battle of right against might. Gandhiji, his handwriting, this M.K. Gandhi, it has so much power, just this. No? So we put it on the major wall, and I have sheets of this, anybody wants to take. Then there was to come a research center in the complex where all the Gandhian literature will come and scholars can come and study there and do research. So we took the inspiration from Sabarmati Ashram, Gandhi thing, and this is the research center. So I end with a movie about the finished memorial. So 2011 to 2017, this project went on. (241) means 241 kilometers which they walked. So, like I said, the value of Dandi Salt Satyagraha, not that event itself, it actually created a methodology which can be implemented and showed the power of truth force and non-violence agitation. The ultimate Ultimate Gandhian idea is that when the policemen who are doing lathi charge, American reporter said, I have never seen such brutal repression. मारते मारते उनका हृदय परिवर्तन हो जाता है कि ये मैं गलत कर रहा हूँ. That creates the transition. They realize and then things change, you know. They stop being enemies, they stop being the people who are beating you, and they see their wives and sisters and all. क्योंकि जो मार रहे थे वो भी हिंदुस्तानी थे और जो मार खा रहे थे वो भी हिंदुस्तानी थे.
But how in reality, we all like to believe much that is the nature of the human being. But in reality, that obviously
Actually,
is not.
the oldest is Kronchavad, Valmiki Ramayana. He saw the agony of the bird he killed, no? That changed his heart. Samrat Ashoka. He saw the carnage he did.
So those are the exceptions.
Exceptions. So, इसमें what happened actually, Gandhiji was arrested immediately after this. But they used to go and picket in front of salt making depots. And these soldiers will come and hit them. One is completely fallen, another group will come. But those soldiers, Britishers, have not arranged for their meals. So they will also give them tiffins to eat after the beating is over. This is what changes minds, no?
Is that possible today in a way you feel?
I would like to believe. आज सुबह महाराजा करण सिंह जी से यही बात हो रही थी कि झगड़ा तो सब करवाते रहते हैं. निर्मला गांधी जी की बहू हैं. वो मेरे को बोलती थी, कीर्ति जी अब प्रेमाक्रमण होना चाहिए, लव का अटैक होना चाहिए ना. पीपल स्टॉप दैट एफर्ट. पहले शांति सेना होती थी, मार्च होते थे. अब सब मानते हैं कि झगड़ा ही होगा और झगड़े के पीछे तो बड़ा बिजनेस है, सब कुछ है ना. तो unless somebody tries like Gandhi ji did, ultimately human beings are basically not so violent, no? It can be awakened. But such a strong force as John Baez, I grew up in England in 70s. She was one of our icons, no? Beatles, John Lennon, hippies, all of them. She used to say, she was a member of War Resistance Congress. She used to say, if mankind spends 1/100th of what it spends on promoting war, if it spends 1/100th on promoting peace, world will be a better place. तो only one-sided effort है. झगड़ा तो सब करवा रहे हैं, शांति कौन करवा रहा है?
Well, that's a whole different argument because it's based on power, based on wealth, the utilization of that wealth, and a whole host of related things. But look, what this project has shown us is, you know, the fusion of philosophy, inspiration, design, micro, small efforts. And you've created a monument which has that energy. And for that, you know, the country is grateful. And one thing at a time, I suppose.
And this happened, no? It's not mythology. This happened. I mean, the people alive who are part of this, so this happened.
Any questions, anyone?
Life and violence can never go together. So if we are living human beings or living animals or living anything, you will never like violence.
But violence is omnipresent, and it must be, because the search for truth is always a struggle against asatya, and therefore non-violence is as omnipresent as violence, and that tussle is what decides the nature of our
It's
ecosystem.
built with non-violence. It is coexistence. Things have to work in harmony.
I agree, but
So ultimately, life will appreciate non-violence. That's the point. Give it a chance.
It
Give it a
aspires
chance to
to.
appreciate.
Appreciate comes when it exists. It aspires to non-violence. I don't think, Look, I think there's none of us who don't appreciate nonviolence. There's no human being. You're absolutely right. It's embedded in us, but equally embedded is struggle, because everything around us is in conflict. You have your point of view.
Violence are two separate things, and this is where Gandhiji, when he built his paradigm around Satyagraha, essentially what he's saying is stretch yourself without breaking.
Yes.
Okay? And this is what is represented in the chakra, Khadi chakra.
Absolutely.
Yes, you stretch. A good
That's an aspiration. That's an But again, you are assuming something which is not in the human being. It comes after much.
That's what I'm saying. It's there in the
Neville, Lalit and we were together in Royal College from 1970 to 74, and John Lennon and Yoko Ono's, all we are saying, give peace a chance. That was like such a big hit, no?
Absolutely.
Oh, everybody gave up, rejected.
No, but look, I am like Gandhiji.
गांधी जी को भी मार दिया, जॉन लेनन को भी मार दिया.
But why go to that point? The key is the nature of the journey. The key is the nature of the journey, the integrity of the journey, sustaining that journey. And the heart of Satyagraha is an ahimsa, which itself is rooted in a compassion. I'm not wrong, Ji. I'm not wrong.
अभी
Please do not use the word.
हम दोनों dissenters हैं, so we can say like this.
You can say that. But ahimsa, there's only one path to Satya, and that's through non-violence. And non-violence is.
The essence of Satyagraha is stretch yourself without breaking.
And
That's what he was saying.
yes,
And you protest, you receive the punishment,
absolutely.
do not break.
With
That is the essence.
With non-violence. You do not break with non-violence. He never said you
So
do
bringing
not.
violence
because-
is not necessary. Stretch yourself.
No, I'm sorry, Ji. It's
This
not
is
true.
a message which is relevant even today. A sportsman stretches himself or herself without breaking. That is the essence.
Gandhiji never in 100 volumes says, stretch yourself while being violent. While being violent, it is never said by him. His essence is the non-violence.
Can I ask you one question, Neville? What made you create this? You're an art person,
From the
cinema
age of 9.
person.
From
What is
the age of 9. My first, I remember the first time I traveled on the British Underground, the tube. The book that was with me was a small book on experiments with truth. That book, and it was another book I can't remember. And I read a few pages, and I was a very arrogant young man, even at 9, 10. And I thought that within a few pages, I will understand the whole Gandhiji's life. But there was one thing that struck to me from childhood. And it transformed itself over the years. And it was that in every answer, only search for a deeper question. And in sustaining that journey, you sustain being true to your inner voice. Your inner voice, your Atma, is the only thing the world cannot touch. It's the only thing that we have which is absolutely free, which cannot be intimidated, which is indestructible, and it's your dialogue with that which will determine your energy. And Gandhiji, in everything he was trying to do, he was saying that to me, that this journey is, and Gandhiji is the supreme ego. There is no man who has the ego as supreme as Gandhiji, and hence such humility. Because if you don't have that deep inner will, that sense that jo bhi ho, whatever force comes against me, I will absorb it and I will overwhelm it and my energy will triumph. That conviction is the dissolution of the two, where constantly the ego is in conflict with its self-immolation, with its self-dissolution. Well, you choose the word that you like, call it will. Another word is the inner will, the willpower, you can call it. But for me, then what is the word?
He would identify the core of the problem. And because it's the core of the problem, you cannot waver from that problem.
The problem
See,
is
that's
outside.
what it was.
But
It's
the
not ego.
problem comes later.
No,
There is no problem in the world before the ego. The ego comes first. The inner voice is there all the time. A problem is a secondary material issue of no consequence. Okay? The first is your consciousness.
You see, we are often very hasty in identifying the problem,
Hasty in defining a problem.
in defining the problem. Gandhiji was never like that. He would spend many months, many years maybe, trying to find what is the core problem.
Absolutely.
Okay?
The problem
What are the core axioms to pursue? And once he has done it, there is no wavering. It's not, ego doesn't come in. He's very relaxed approaching it.
I think you have a fundamentally different interpretation of ego as I do. Ego is nothing negative. There's no human being in this world who can fight or carry on or fulfill their destiny or achieve anything without a sense of themselves. And that sense of oneself is rooted first in the ego. The greatest acts of selflessness comes from deep selfishness at one stage of one's life.
I will support what Neville said, because Raja Bhoj said exactly the same thing. Ahankar and Abhiman. This creates a sense of self-worth. Ki what I am doing is right and it should be done. And then when added with capability, great things happen.
And with time, as we see the fragile nature of life, we see the struggles of others, we see the vulnerability inherent in everything, that ahankar, that pride slowly dissolves itself because it realizes its arrogance. When arrogance realizes its own arrogance, selfishness gets transformed into selfless acts, step by step, over time. And that's all the journey of Gandhiji. His experiment with his life was that how many mistakes? No leader has made as many mistakes as
Also,
Gandhiji.
Lalit, it may appear arrogance to others, but for the person speaking, it's supreme confidence.
You have a question, please?
अगर हम उनका पूरा जीवन देखें असहयोग आंदोलन से लेकर के भारत के विभाजन तक, तो ऐसा कोई आंदोलन नहीं है जिसको वो सफलतापूर्वक आगे बढ़ाते हैं। हर आंदोलन उनका आधे में खत्म होता है और उनके हट से, उनकी जिद से खत्म होता है। असहयोग आंदोलन भी सिर्फ उनका हट था। उन्होंने पूरे देश को जोड़ा और एक आदेश पर उसे कह दिया कि अब समाप्त कर दो। मेरा ये मानना है कि गांधी का अहंकार इतना बड़ा था कि उनके जैसा अहंकारी व्यक्ति तो मुझे दिखाई ही नहीं पड़ता पूरे स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन की पृष्ठभूमि में, कोई एक व्यक्ति नहीं। वो हमेशा अपनी जिद मनवाते थे। ब्रह्मचर्य का प्रयोग जो है उनका, इसका एक जीता जागता उदाहरण है कि उनके मन में एक साधारण स्त्री की गरिमा का भी कोई भान नहीं था। उनको यह सिद्ध करना था कि वह परम ब्रह्मचारी हैं, इसलिए वो किसी को भी कहते थे कि अच्छा तुम आज मेरे साथ सो। यह इसका जरा मुझे उत्तर दीजिए कि एक महान व्यक्ति ये किस तरह से कर सकता है?
आप होप मैंने सुन लिया। और
Baba, what you said in a way is why Lalit's point was arguing against me, because the way you use in ahankar and the way I used it are fundamentally different. You seem to be, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you seem to be critical that Gandhiji's pride overtook his sense of the purpose that he and the country was upon.
मैं यही मानता हूँ कि उनके भीतर कोई लोकतंत्र नहीं है। हर छोटे बड़े निर्णय में वे अपने विचार को हमेशा आश्रय देते हैं, चाहे वो भगत सिंह का इससे मसला
I
हो।
feel deeply uncomfortable. Let me tell why. Every day, a systematic attempt is being made in this country to create the greatest person of this millennium. और बार बार सिस्टमेटिकली रोज गांधी को मारते हैं, पर सत्य शाश्वत है, अहिंसा शाश्वत है। भाई साहब, आप जो भी हैं, आपके प्रश्न का जवाब मैं नहीं दूं, ये चर्चा डिरेल होती है, ये चर्चा डिरेल होती है। नहीं, ये बैठ के आके बैठ जाते हैं, चर्चा डिरेल होती है। आई एम डूइंग दिस बिकॉज ऐसे लोगों के कारण, इट्स नॉट ए क्वेश्चन, इट्स ए सिस्टमेटिक अटेम्प्ट टू अगेन किल गांधी हियर। हाँ,
आप मेरे प्रश्न का उत्तर दे दीजिए जो मैंने पूछा। आप जो आपने कहा कि सिस्टमैटिक अटेम्प्ट हो रहा है, ये आप मेरे प्रश्न का उत्तर दीजिए। मैंने गांधी को पढ़ा नहीं पढ़ा, मैंने आपसे बहुत साधारण सा प्रश्न पूछा।
नहीं नेविल, देखो, जो मैं शांत हो सकता हूँ, मैं शांत हो सकता हूँ, मैं नेविल बहुत क्लियरली बोल रहा हूँ, ये बार बार होता है।
Let it be. 1000 बार होने दो।
ये बार बार होता है।
1000 बार होने, that is the nature, that is why I
नहीं तो हमारे पास देखिए,
both of you,
can I respectfully submit something?
Baba,
We came here to discuss. Can I respectfully make
made
submit?
your presentation.
There are many
You
people
have to
here.
give the public,
There is Sunil Malhotra.
you have to let the public give their questions. That is the nature.
So I don't respect. Can I say this time will be better spent letting Sunil say something?
He will have his chance when he puts his hand up. He hasn't put his hand up. Let him put his
I
hand
was
up.
going to invite.
So I will invite
I
him.
was going to invite.
Let him have his say. The say is important. You cannot.
उसमें क्या से करना है? सब दूर से भोपो बना के गांधी जी को तो रोज मार रहे हैं ये।
Kirti,
हाँ,
Baba,
शांत का सवाल नहीं है।
it is. It is. Relax. It's okay. It's okay. We get the point.
आप सर, अंतिम बात कहूंगा। गांधीवाद की सबसे बड़ी समस्या यही है कि वह एक आलोचना सुनने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। ये महानता है गांधीवाद की।
I am keeping a certain order. I respect what you've said. He's behaving in this way. You just relax now, Baba Jan. Relax. Yes, Sunil.
So let me just bring the whole thing back to the question that you had asked.
Sure.
We've heard about Gandhiji, we've heard about nonviolence, we've heard about Satyagraha, we've heard about everything. How do we use it today in an age of conflict and violence? I think, am I right? Was that the question you asked?
That's
right.
one essential part.
Right. And I think, one of the things that I have discovered, and I know only, is that what creates conflict and what creates confusion is words. Words. Language is the most difficult thing to scratch, which is what raises temper, which is what creates love. It does everything. Unfortunately, the Western paradigm has trapped us only into words. If you go back in time, you saw the Rishi Munis, the way they would communicate, how they actually passed on. It's not that conflict wasn't there, violence wasn't there. Ramayana is violence, Mahabharata is violence, right? But there is a dharmic element to it. And the communication has to be language plus something or language minus something. And I think that's what I would say is the magic potion in today's age. If you see the entire conflict today, whether it was what happened here also, it's all the problem goes down to language because we're not communicating at the level of energy the way humans are supposed to, or the whole cosmos is supposed to. And language can create this. I've learned from Kirti Trivedi. When you can meet face to face, figure out what is your need to meet face to face, where you will not use written communication or spoken communication on a phone or whatever it is. When will you use written communication? And unfortunately, we've reached an age where we are only relying on written communication. It's all digital. It is the worst communication medium, according to me. may be right.
I feel you're wrong, because it's not so simple. It's an age where young minds, and they are as equally to be privileged as your generation, my generation, all generations. It changes. The mind changes. Today, we have handed over our memories to machines. When you hand over your memory, all creativity has very little to bounce off. Memory is the foundation on which creativity, innovation, great insights emerge. When you can't even remember basic phone numbers, you can't even remember basic locations, you can't even remember basic landmarks of history, you have a fundamental problem of locating yourself as a human being. So there are many difficulties of allowing the machine into your life. And we are seeing that in our younger generation. But the exhibition I put, I'm fighting for about 6 years now, the concept, a very simple concept, the caption. I have had exhibitions for 30 years. I've given the most beautiful captions, and some days I couldn't be bothered with a caption because people do not read the visual. What you said before was absolutely correct and wise in my mind, that communication is a multi-dimensional force. Look at our educational system. The text is the most heavy and the singular power base of a source of knowledge. The visual has been disrespected. The audio has been neglected. The experiential, the experience of the moment, the live is totally neglected. Exactly what you said in a different way. So that's our struggle. This exhibition, on one way, is to put across Gandhiji through images. Of course there is hatred. Why will there not be hatred? And no one can deny that. The legitimacy of that you may disagree with. But at the end of the day, that has to be. Otherwise, where does truth emerge from? Truth is at the cusp of the battle. So I feel that all of us at some time lose the patience. I've lost...
On cooling down, because I teach classes, we're talking on a topic. So on cooling down, we are not talking about Gandhi the person. We are talking about the idea of truth force and what it can do. And it's a limited discussion. You begin a take on the person, take the idea of truth force. It digresses, it creates a deflection, and the short time we are
but
together...
you push that also. See, the greatest deflection...
तो मैं क्लास में मना कर देता हूँ कि इस विषय पे बात हो रही है, ये कंडीशन
हम
रिफ्लेक्शन.
किसी चीज को मना नहीं कर सकते.
हम तो करते हैं.
When I raise my voice, I've already lost the battle.
I know, गांधी जी भी said कि गुस्सा नहीं करना चाहिए. उनसे ज्यादा गुस्सा करने वाला कोई था नहीं. My father tells me.
So therefore, on this lovely note of losing battles, because most of our learning are in those lost battles, I thank Kirti.
एक कहावत है जो इतनी कॉमन है, मजबूरी का नाम महात्मा गांधी. मतलब गांधी जी का कचरा कर दिया. नहीं, टोटली इतना इम्पोर्टेंट विचार देख के गए और मजबूरी का नाम महात्मा.
You force me to reply. You tell me any great idea in this world.
True.
कचरा नहीं बना उस आइडिया का. You tell me. You give me one
idea. कम से कम आइडिया तो डिस्कस कर लें.
From love to God to non-violence, any idea. Kachara is inherent in the greatest of virtues.
Never kachara nahi hoga, so it's not a good idea.
Anyway, कोई ना कोई कचरा और अचार बनाने के लिए आएगा ही आएगा जिंदगी में. And let it be. You absorb it and you move on. Anyway, it was a pleasure. As
My
always
pleasure
having
also.
you.
Thank you very
and
much.
Thank you very much.